Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 517. And today we are talking about how your story becomes your reality. So how does that really happen? Like how you see the world around you can actually begin to formulate in your conscious mind and also your unconscious mind, that it dictates how you show up in the world. It is so important to understand this because it can really trip you up. We've been programmed, everybody. We've been programmed by society, by culture. We've been programmed by our family, our friends, our ex-partners, our siblings, our school. We've been programmed in many different ways. Some have been amazing. Like some people have imparted some amazing advice to us. But in other times, the words which have been spoken to us have caused us to be able to formulate a reality that we perceive to be true. And the beliefs that you hold about yourself, the beliefs that you hold about the world around you, whether it be in your health, your relationships, your career, your finances, whatever it is, sometimes the stories that you tell yourself will create your reality. But the myth is that is true, but it is absolutely wrong. You see, you may be a product of your past, the things that you've gone through, the significant emotional events that have caused us to have certain thoughts, beliefs, feelings, behaviors, self-sabotage, limiting beliefs such as I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, because of those significant emotional events. However, they do not have to be a part of your reality moving onwards. Because once you start to apply exactly what I'm about to tell you, and you really take action upon it, you may find yourself in a new sense of a reality. Because the filters you have will be distorted, generalized, deleted, and it will cause you to show up to the world in a certain way. So for example, let's just say when you were very young, you were told that you're stupid, you're not intelligent enough, you're not good enough. Maybe someone said something to you, maybe someone did something to you, maybe it was a breakup, maybe it was a parental figure. Somewhere along the line, we assumed that story. We thought it was true because maybe we didn't know any better. Maybe when we came into this world, we're just fresh and open, we're like a sponge, and we take things on uncritically, and your unconscious mind, most importantly, does. Because if it doesn't have a reference to go by, let's just say you come into, let's say we're an alien, for example, just a random thing just came to mind. Let's say we're an alien, we come to this world called Earth, and they were told certain beliefs, we were told certain truths, so-called truths anyway. And because we didn't have a reference, because it's a whole new world, we may take that on as truth. We may well do. Because we have nothing to compare it to. So in other words, if you were very young and you were told something, you didn't know any better. You didn't have another frame of reference. You didn't have any other evidence to tell you otherwise. Therefore, you began to buy into that illusionary experience. You begin to buy into a world where you are not enough. Have you ever seen, thinking about it, that movie Inception? Has anyone seen that movie Inception? And by the way, if you're listening to this on the podcast, this is being broadcasted live on Facebook and YouTube. You can always go to facebook.com/Joseph's fan page. Yes, I said fan page, because way back then, that is when they were called fan pages. Or you can go to youtube.com/Joseph Clough, which is CLOUGH. And that means you can get notified as and when these videos go live, whether they be recorded or you can tune in live, and I can actually get you or get your questions answered ultimately. So I can see them all coming in. So I will be answering them at the end of this. So everyone listening to this in the podcast, jump onto those social media and make sure you have subscribed or liked. So that means you get notified first. But I was saying about the movie Inception. Interesting movie. I really, really liked it. It was almost putting someone in a dream state and going down in deeper levels. If you think about it, the deeper they went, the more they will be able to install suggestions into the unconscious mind. So it's pretty much hypnosis. I do hypnosis. And if we think about that when we apply it to ourselves, how many times have we been hypnotized by our experiences, by those people in our experiences? Those significant emotional events where things just hit us. We are unable to make good, clear decisions. So therefore, unconsciously, we react in such a way, in a, like a impulsive way, based on the information we had at that time. If we didn't have much information as a child, or even if you were an adult and you went through a significant emotional event, you did not choose wisely, unconsciously, because of the stress that you're in. So therefore, you may have created unconsciously a story. And by you, I don't mean you consciously decided it on purpose, but I do mean somewhere along the line, you made a decision. And that decision created your present experience. The past events that we went through has caused us to get to this point. But it's not about your past. It's about what you do now. It's about what you choose, decide, declare, and implement in such a powerful way that you change the story of your life. Because it is a myth that we are just a product of our past to a degree. To a degree. I mean, in other words, it doesn't have to remain the same anyway. Because if we start to make small, minor changes here in the now, guess what? This present now, what does it become? What does it become? It becomes our past. That's ultimately what it is. Our present will become our past. So what we do now will start to formulate a new direction as to where you're heading. But before we do that, we must get clear on a few points. Ask yourself this one question. What story, what theme are you living by right now? Is the theme of your life scarcity, a lack of finance, a lack of abundance, that every time I make some money, it just disappears? That's the theme of my life. I just never get money. It comes and then it goes. Maybe you have a theme in your life that maybe every future relationship, you're going to get used and abused. Maybe that next job interview, you kind of feel like that theme, because of the past, it's not going to end very well. I mean, think about it. If you've gone through X amount of events, and let's take the interview example. I go through one interview. I'm really fired up. I'm like, I really want to get this job. The career is going to be amazing and fantastic, and I cannot wait to get into that interview. I get there, I sit down on a seat, and then suddenly something happens. I get nervous. I'm like, what is this feeling? They start to ask questions to me and I don't know the answer. Now I'm panicking. Now I feel the redness in my face, that inner critic, that inner thought that maybe I'm an imposter, maybe I shouldn't be here. And then let's just say that interview doesn't go very well. In fact, we don't get the job. And then we're like, oh my goodness, I need to get a career on track. I'm ready. I didn't like that experience, but I'm going to go for this next interview. And you kind of fire yourself up. I'm ready. I'm excited. There's a little bit of a nagging doubt there because of the previous one. But you get there and guess what? The exact same thing happens. It doesn't work out. You don't get it. you panicked, you felt like an imposter, and you do it again, and the same experience repeats. The likelihood, after a number of times, you're going to expect the exact same thing to happen, because the past experience is your evidence of what is possible. Now, of course, we can think of other people, other forms of evidence to be able to get better, to be able to, people who have succeeded from traumas or overcome challenges, but sometimes those past events will start to become our story. So ask yourself, what story are you living by? Maybe you were told something when you were younger. Maybe you went through something significant and it had an impact on you. I mean, life is life. It comes with huge challenges. But we have to really think about it. We got to almost get so close up to it and look at it in the eye and go, look, what story have I been living by? What is the experience that I am going through right now that I've been just repeating and repeating in my life? You got to wake up to that. You got to be conscious of the unconscious stories that you're creating. Because once you're aware of them, it's the first step. Why? Because most of the time these stories are operating from beneath the surface. They become the guidance system that you're unaware of, and you should be the captain of your ship. So, with that, once you become conscious about it, you can start to do something about it. So ask yourself, where did these stories come from? Is it something that you went through? Is it something that someone said? Because once you become aware of it, hey, let's go ahead and think about changing it. See, if I've understood my story, the theme of my life, and I've had many in my life, from I used to feel really, really abundant. And then there was a time when I didn't. And then I felt like I was getting in this trap of a lack of abundance. But I had to be consciously aware of it. And then I had to do something about it. First step, be conscious. Second step, decide and declare you are going to change the story of your life. You can be the editor, the screenwriter, the actor, the producer, and all the other movie roles that there are of your own destiny. You have to choose to create it. One way is deciding, declaring, drawing a line in the sand that you're ready for more. For when you really understand it and get it in your mind that actually, even though life has thrown me all this stuff, even though everything is saying no, 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 today is a day I'm going to decide to do something better. I'm going to decide this is not the story I'm going to run by. I may have been programmed into it, but that is not who I am at a deeper level. Think about that for a moment. The operation of the story that we run by is simply a behavior. It is simply a strategy that we are playing like a record. And by simply, I'm not saying, look, it's simply easy to change or transform. I mean, yes, you can. I'm going to show you how in many different ways. But if we do break it down to its basics, it is a strategy that we're running between the conscious mind, the unconscious mind, and also how we communicate and how our relationship is with the outside world. Many people try to change the outside world, but it's never going to work. You change your job, you change your relationship, you change your bank account, you change your credit card, and guess what? The same thing happens all the time. It's almost as if you're trying to comb your hair by combing the mirror. You don't do it that way. You got to go on the inside, be conscious, decide what you are ready for. What are you going to live up to? What are your values that you're going to live up to? Who are you going to be? Design it in your mind, even if you don't believe in it just yet. Even if it's not your reality just yet, but if you're going to make a change, you've got to formulate it. You've got to understand it. You've got to dream it, because we haven't been taught to dream. As a child, we were dreaming all the time, and then we become an adult and suddenly we don't dream. But now is a time to have the curiosity of a child and start to design your thoughts, your self-identity to achieve what you want, because your identity will dictate your capacity. Your capacity will dictate your behaviors, and that is how you'll show up in the world. And therefore, the results that you get will then reaffirm the identity. So if you change your identity, you will expand your capacity. You will transform and be more resourceful in how you act, how you react, and how you show up. And therefore, the results that you get, well, guess what? Once you made that change and get that result, it will also go back to reaffirming your identity. So decide it. Set your boundaries up. Dream it in your mind. Who are you going to be? What you're going to get? And refuse to have nothing less. Why? Because you are more than that. Now, even if you don't believe it within yourself, know that I believe that within you. Because I think when we came into this world, we were whole. We weren't really conflicted. Life hypnotized us into experiences and decisions and beliefs around the world. But that is not who you are. It's a set of behaviors. It's a set of beliefs. Can you change your belief? Of course you can. You probably change your belief all the time. I'm not going to say, I shouldn't say this. If you're a child right now, close off your ears. But some people don't believe in Father Christmas or Santa Claus, but they once did. Say maybe, which is a myth by the way, because he's real. He's real every single time, okay? But there have been many beliefs that you've had that turned out to be either not true or you changed your opinion on. You probably believed a lot differently when you were younger or as a young adult than maybe where you are right now. So beliefs come and go. Some are more locked down, fixated, and harder to shift because they're unconscious. And one thing that I always suggest doing, I mean, you may know this already, but I have an app. Go to freehypnosis.app and you'll be able to find so many hypnosis titles on there. There are over 500 free episodes. You can create your own custom tracks, and you can really start to even listen to it as you go to sleep and transform. So go ahead and do that. And of course, if you want to be able to help me on my mission of helping more people, go ahead and leave a rating and a review, because it means by you doing it, it will cause other people to feel good about downloading it, because hypnosis is one of those things, right? Am I going to be turned into a chicken? Am I gonna do silly things on stage? Now, not to say that doesn't exist, because it's true. I've gone on a stage hypnosis course before and it was a lot of fun. But the thing I realized is, just a side note here, those who go to a hypnosis show, there are two kinds of people: those who want to watch people do silly things and those who want to do the silly things. So there is a level of participation. There is a will there to get up there and do those things. So it's all true. But if you can make someone do that, imagine what you could do with your life today once you start to use hypnosis to transform your life, to use all those free episodes in there. Because if you double down on that, if you really immerse yourself into it, if you follow those steps of understanding your story, where did it come from? Is it yours? Is it your parents? Is it your parents' parents, which has been passed down by the generations that you've assumed, which are now really not even relative anymore? Just think about this. How many beliefs do you think we run about ourselves as a society, as a culture, as a world, that are actually generations old, that may not be as warranted as they were back then? It's an interesting experience, to really think about that. Am I actually running by all these beliefs and decisions and all the things formulated in me where really it's not even my belief system? Maybe I'm running a belief which isn't even mine. It was given to me and I accepted it unconsciously because I didn't know any different. So, before we get into the questions, there's one more thing we need to do. We've understood our stories, the illusionary stories which aren't us, or the ones we've been programmed through significant emotional events of our past. And we've decided and declared that actually there's something more here. We're actually gonna transform, we're gonna create, we're gonna consciously create our future with our unconscious mind. But the next step is this, and it's called leverage. You have to leverage your unconscious mind. You gotta figure out all the reasons why you want to change. What's it gonna do once you've changed? How much safer are you gonna be once you've changed? If you can list, when people go into my program is an 8-week program, and it's intense in a good, great way. It's liberating. It causes you to transform. There's a level of one-to-one custom hypnosis tracks designed and created with your name and all those things included there. There are the modules. There's like one-to-one, the group coaching, assignments. It's huge and it's big, and it's not for everyone. In fact, it's not for most people. But one of the things that I make sure that people do is list out at least 100 reasons why they should change. Why? Because if you can find enough reasons to change and you write them all out, you are sending a signal to your unconscious mind, this is so important to me because reason 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so much more. Once you get that out of your conscious mind, because you won't know all of it, because there's levels to it, there's expansions to it. Oh, it's gonna make me take action. Okay, what's that gonna get me? Well, it's gonna start me to get that promotion. Okay, what's that gonna get you? It's gonna get me an extra $50,000 every single year from my salary. Now suddenly we've gained more reasons. In the beginning it was to get that promotion, or get that confidence to get that promotion, but now there's a deeper level of your vision. You have more ambition, more vision to be able to get that. So we're leveraging your unconscious mind to make that change. And once again, if you are ready to go a little bit deeper, you have that hypnosis app right there. You can download it by going to freehypnosis.app. And on top of that, and it's one of those things, like I said about my program, I almost kind of get people to go away from it because it is only for a certain person. So I am not apologetic about that because look, it's very intense, profoundly transformational. And if you want to be able to get access to the webinar to see if you're a good fit, go to josephclough.com. Oh no, that's my other website, josephclough.info/power. That's going to be the best way. So let's, with that, go into, so we've got lots of great feedback right here. God, Joseph, I absolutely love your work. Let me go ahead and remove that actually right there. There's all new system to me. Even this right here, this camera, set up the other day, got a little bit of a zoom in there, and also a little bit of the back there. Hey, and if we really want to go crazy, we can go ahead and celebrate a little bit. And of course, if you're getting the replay of this, you won't be knowing any of this on the podcast. But as we see, we can go into the questions right now. Okay, so Anna said, why is the pain relief hypnosis I used of yours not available anymore? Well, I don't know about that. I think it is available. If you go onto the app and type in pain, it should be there. And of course, if there's another pain track that you're looking for, send me an email, joseph@josephclough.com, and my assistant Sarah will be able to point you in the right direction to that. Okay, we've got another great one right here. Hopefully get it right, Landes. Falling asleep is not the problem, it's staying asleep. Which one of your sessions is the best for deep sleep? It's 3 a.m. here in the UK and I'm wide awake. Well, good news for you. If you go ahead to the app that I've been saying, which is freehypnosis.app, go there and you'll be able to find the relevant link. We're upgrading the Android app as we speak. I spoke to my developer today and it's going to be epic. But if you go there and type in uninterrupted sleep, you'll find one which will get you to not only go to sleep in lightning quick, but also remain asleep. So that is what I really suggest for everyone out there struggling to stay asleep, is uninterrupted hypnosis or sleep hypnosis. One says, I've been wondering if you'll ever do some teaching on covert hypnosis. I'm going to be honest, I'm not planning for that. I mean, when I teach people to do what I do as well, so like NLP wise, hypnosis wise, but we got to think what covert is. If we're trying to manipulate people, then that's not good. If we're trying to suggest things, like if you think of this whole thing I'm doing right now on this podcast / live video, if you rewatch it back, there may be, I'm not going to suggest this, but there may have been some hypnotic suggestions in my language consciously to get you to see things differently, because it causes you to be able to think differently. It causes you to see the world differently. So I don't do that, but the best way to learn is not through by being covert, but it's about how to communicate with people effectively. How can you communicate with their conscious and unconscious mind that it causes them to take on your ideas so they really understand it? Because, hey, 93% of all communication is unconscious. Only 7% is words. So therefore, you'd say all the right words, but if your physiology, your tonality, and all the other unconscious aspects is out of whack, then you're not going to communicate effectively. So using NLP, hypnosis, coaching, it's not about being covert, it's about gaining rapport that people understand you and you can be a clear communicator. So we've got one from John here, how to energize yourself. Good question. And on the free podcast, which is also in the app, there is a free track on boosting your energy. So number one, that is a good thing. But look, hey, there are mind things involved. Maybe we self-sabotage things. Maybe we have limiting beliefs about ourselves, which then causes us to trip ourselves up. If I don't feel good enough, I'm not going to go ahead and do the things I want to be doing. However, you've got to be aware of what you're putting into your body. You've got to be aware of how your sleeping is, because that's going to have an effect on how you show up in your day. So don't just use hypnosis. Look, it's a holistic approach. We need to be able to see what's happening within our body, how we're treating our body. If we're working out, is actually going to get you more energy. The way I see things is, well, I set up my day for success. I choose to wake up, do a little bit of self-hypnosis, my own custom track I made. I go for a run, I go in a sauna, whatever it is, to be able to energize me, to create my day, to start my day right. So we've got to think about how we're setting up our day and also how we're setting up our night. Are we getting that good sleep? Are we eating the right things? Are we exercising to be able to have that energy? Okay, what else we got right here? So this was about the same one about the hypnosis one. So once again, feel free to email, but it should be on the app if you just put pain in the hypnosis section of it. Okay, so what else we got right here as we go through some of the questions? From Elise, we've got, could you do hypnosis for grief and depression? I lost my mum a few months back. Your depression here has helped when my dad passed, but I'm finding I need something more. So first of all, my sympathies, my love is there with you. There is, if you go into the app in the hypnosis section, there is a great grief process there, and it's free. Now, we have to also process our emotions as well. Like, it's not like we should click our fingers and be free of pain. Emotions are there for a reason, and we've got to honor them. But I would absolutely listen to that grief track on the hypnosis app because that's going to help. And one thing, my dad told me this. I don't know where he heard it from, but if we're grieving a lot, we always make a decision to ourselves that rather grieving the whole day, that you actually allocate a piece of time in your day to grieve fully. Now it's interesting, right? So what does this really mean? Well, if I set a time for myself to grieve, I just let it out for 10 minutes every single day. I'm setting up the construction in my mind that this is where I grieve, but also after that, I'm done with it. To be not done with it fully, but you know what? I'm done to be able to just get moving. I'm ready to you know, with me and my words, oh my goodness, I can't say the word now, the compartmentalize one. You know the word I mean. We're putting it to one side, in other words. We're putting it in a box, then we can actually go back to that box every day for 10 minutes, 20 minutes and grieve fully. So once we're out of it, oh my goodness, it will come back to me. And I know that you guys will help me out. Write it out for me in the chat, and therefore I'll be able to compartmentalize. You know I got a D in English. Let me know in the chat what am I trying to say there. Okay, so let's see what other questions we had right now as well. There we go. So lots of great feedback right here. I haven't got like a queuing system on here yet, so I will be just going through them, going backwards for it. But thank you ever so much, Claudia, as well, for this. So thank you for your wonderful voice. I sleep with your self-hypnosis. Claudia, Colombiana, living in Montana, US. So thank you, Claudia. I really appreciate that. Thank you ever so much. Also here we got one right. I love to know how to stop worrying about health issues because it's causing me agoraphobia and anxiety. I've got you covered, Michelle. Go to the app. There's one called Health Anxiety. Health anxiety is a real thing. I've worked with many clients about it, and you can actually just download and listen to that one. And every track soon within the app is going to be day and night version. And if you've unlocked the app or you purchased one before, I'm giving you the nighttime version for free, so you don't have to pay anything else. What is likelihood I have a successful coaching business? The likelihood of your success is based on your dedication in doing the work. Now, here's why I say this. You can be the best hypnotherapist, coach, practitioner. You can be the best guitarist. You can be the best artist in the world. But if you don't know how to learn the business side, you're going to fall into some issues here. So you could be the worst coach in the world, but probably the best paid if you're all in on the business. If you just did it, like you could be a fraud and still do it. So the lesson here is that the likelihood of your success is as your level of consistency to go into the business side, to understand it. What is your avatar? Have you got a business plan in place? Do you have goals and outcomes for clients? Do you have the client procedure? How to onboard them, how to communicate with them, how to be able to show, look, in 5 sessions, you'll let go of the whole issue. Like how to really set that up as a business. We have to be a business, not just a coach. So the likelihood is based on your own ability to apply, to learn, to grow. When I first started out at 18 years old, which is 19 years ago, I've been doing hypnosis for 19 years. It was hard in the beginning. It was tricky. I didn't know anything. In fact, I had to learn website coding on my website because there was no way of doing it otherwise. So I had to go into the code and do all that stuff. So you've got to go more in on your business than the actual coaching because you know your stuff. So go all in on the business side, and then you'll get the clients. But it takes passion. You got to leverage that why you're doing this. It's not all about the money, it's about making impact in the world. But it's not always just about impact, it's also about making some money in the world as well, because you deserve it. A lot of coaches have a lot of issues when it comes to charging. So you need to work on yourself as well as we go through that process. Okay, what other ones do we have right here? Michelle says, your podcast helped me in the past. I'm back in the same thing 4 years later. I was doing so well when my life back agoraphobia sucks. But I think I answered that about the health anxiety, and there is the agoraphobia hypnosis title on the app as well. Thank you ever so much, Michelle, saying absolutely Joseph works. That is awesome. We've got a great one here from Dell. I'm terrified that I won't be able to overcome this depression. So look, here's the thing. I want to be real honest with you. You might need help, whether it be through the app or whether it be a one-to-one professional. Look, I'm a big advocate of getting the help that you need. Sometimes the fear of remaining the same is bigger than the depression because it keeps us locked down. But if someone's overcame it before, you can overcome it yourself. You can do. So we've got to give up that story, like with the whole theme of this episode, and start to create a new one. What can we do today? A small step to move us forward. For example, you could go out for a nice long walk for 1 hour, and all you do most of the time is look up, or at least above and up. Why? Because most depressed people are in this down state. In other words, when it comes to the eyes, it's more of a kinesthetic state, looking down. But if we start to look up, we're actually going to a more visual aspect, and therefore we're not feeling as much. So simply as getting exercise, producing those endorphins while simultaneously moving our physiology to a new place, it will cause you to start to make that change. So exercise, diet, hypnosis, NLP, coaching, a professional in your life to help you, because they can gear you to that success and that solution. So, but honestly, look, you can get over it. And also, I've always said this, I'm also thankful for my issue in my past. You know about it. I used to blush at a drop of the hat. I dropped out of college, failed at school with only 6 C's, bad relationships, and I just didn't feel I was enough. I didn't feel like I was worthy. I didn't feel like I had anxiety. I had worry all the time. And I really want you to know that if we go deeper into this, if someone's overcome it, so can you. Sometimes you need someone else there with you to believe in you a little bit more than you believe in yourself. But you can do it. You can and you will once you start to really move forward and start to implement it and realize this shall pass. Whatever state that you're in, keep saying this will pass. It's not stuck in stone. You'll get through this. Look for the examples of where people have changed. And this for everyone, right? Sometimes we feel like we're going to remain the same. Sometimes we feel like, and I felt that way. For 18 years, that was my rock solid belief system. Only till I decided to do something about it, reach out for help, seek out professional advice. I had to invest in myself. I had to educate myself. The amount of books that I've read, like, it's crazy. And I'm a slow reader based on my schooling, right? Yet that dedication paid off. What you invest within yourself now, even if it's just time, you'll get that reaping of the rewards in the future. But I believe in you. Go into the Hypnosis app, seek out professional advice, and that is what I really a break from podcasting and so on, and just doing the business side, other things. But this year, I'm so dedicated. I'm going to be impossible to be ignored online when it comes to the transformation. The great and powerful Rich says, you're amazing. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for the great life-changing info. Is hypnosis okay for Christians? Or if it's okay for me, and I'm not a Christian, by the way. I actually wasn't even, my family. Here's a little note here. And there's a little thing to my father and my mother. They forgot to baptize me. I don't know, my elder brothers, they got baptized. I didn't. But yeah, I mean, for Christians, those of different religions, hypnosis is a tool. It's a transformation. It's a state of mind. It's nothing to be fearful for. And I'll tell you exactly why. because we are connecting with ourselves at a deeper level. Now, I'm not a religious person, right? I went to a Catholic school when I was young and things, and I'm not necessarily religious. I would say I'm more spiritual and things like that. And I don't really go into that because I don't think that's important for me to impose my thoughts and things, because then we kind of see things differently. But if we break things down, going into a trance, a hypnosis session, or a hypnotic state, you're connecting your conscious mind with your unconscious mind. If you're becoming more connected, you're becoming more whole. Now, if you are a religious person, if you the holer you are, the more holy you are, the more whole, the more content, I'm going to presume you're going to feel more aligned with God or anything like that. Like I said, I don't really go into religious stuff, but hypnosis is profound for everyone, in my opinion. And yeah, it's a really good question, because I know there are some misconceptions by that. I've been around ministers who do hypnosis, so I know for a fact that is it. Okay, so compartmentalize. Thank you, Monica. That was the word I was going for. And it's also Elise saying it as well. Steph says, is it normal if you experience jerkiness while going into trance? Well, look, I call it a shift. It's not for everyone, but sometimes when you're in a trance, you will shift. Sometimes you do it as you go to sleep. So it is normal, it is natural, and there's no issue. It's not unnormal if you don't do it, but we are changing our physiological state. We are going into a state of trance, so therefore our body will react. When I've worked with one-to-one clients, that can happen. That's no problems whatsoever. Okay, I've answered some of these. Karen says, from Dana Point, California, just up the road from you. You absolutely are. I'm in San Diego. I was up Dana Point, that was a long time ago, like a year ago. So we've also got a question right here. Excuse me. What's the best hypnosis for post-operative nausea and vomiting? Post-operative. Oh, that's a really good question. So, I don't know if... Look, I've got a lot of tracks, you can tell. I've answered like lots of subjects there. Post-operative. There is a post-operative surgery hypnosis track, which might be good. Also, there's a free track, which is called Any Issue Hypnosis. So when you listen to that track with the issue in mind, that's going to help you as well. So it's more of a generalized one, but your intention is powerful. So I would go for that one. Good. So I think we've answered all your questions so far, and look, it's been a pleasure speaking with you as always. And remember, there is the hypnosis app there. Go to freehypnosis.app. You can listen to hundreds of coaching audios. You can create custom tracks within there as well. You can also choose from over 100 hypnosis sessions, 500 plus episodes. You can even transform while you sleep. And also, if you would like to go ahead and leave a rating and a review, just go to your app and things like that. Leave the little review there, because it just gives people permission to be able to, or not permission, but they know that actually there is a solution out there, because there is. And I'm here to help you in every way as possible. And thank you for your kind feedback coming in as well. So with that, my wonderful friends, I look forward to speaking to you on a future episode. Many thanks and goodbye.